Hello YouTube and welcome to this preview of Chaos Dwarfs. They are the new team for Blood Bowl 3 in Season 11 and we're going to have a quick look at their team and just see what you can do with them. They've changed a bit from Chaos Dwarf days in Blood Bowl 2. They're still mostly the same. They've arguably got a little bit worse, but I've actually really enjoyed playing these guys. I've played a lot of them in NAF style in particular. I've really enjoyed them. So I thought we'd have a quick look at the team. So here's all the players. You've got the Bull Centaurs. Now I've kitted these out with the max cosmetics from the Blood Pass. So this is I didn't realise he was shirtless. He was topless. That's pretty cool. Right, so Bull Centaur. It's basically exactly the same as you might remember it from Blood Bowl 2. If you don't remember from Blood Bowl 2, you've got a lovely movement 6, strength 4, edge 4+, passing 6 up, armor 10+ guy. He's gained mutation access on a secondary, which they never used to have, and technically he's kind of against the law, but who's going to complain? You're still looking at developing these guys as you probably would imagine. You're looking at block, really, maybe sure hands on one to start with, because although they're only edge 4+, ideally you want this to be your ball carrier, not a Hobgoblin. You probably will end up having Hobgoblins carrying the balls at various points, just because they're edge 3+, rerolls are quite expensive, that kind of stuff, but really you want a Bull Centaur to be a dedicated ball carrier ASAP. It might even be worth trying to save for stats if you can early on, because if you get +1 agility or movement, it's pretty good. Strength isn't bad, probably a bit expensive, but again, strength 5, that then opens up some other bits we can talk about later. But yeah, block and sure hands is the main thing you want off here. Strength wise, if you got a killer, so generally speaking, when I'm playing them, I have a killer Bull Centaur and a kind of ball carrying Bull Centaur. So the killer, you're probably looking at Mighty Blow, and then you're probably looking at Frenzy for them potentially, or Tackle. So just to give you some extra hits, and also pushing towards sideline with because they start with Sure Feet. I can't remember if I mentioned that. They start with Sure Feet and Sprint, so they can move 9 squares a turn pretty reliably. So these can be your mobile blitzers. When I talked about the strength, now break tackle isn't brilliant for them as it stands at the moment, just because it's only a +1 because they are strength 4 or less. In the new edition, which is just dropped as we record this, break tackle is much better on them because that means they dodge on a 2+ rather than a 3+. If you get +1 strength though, then you are dodging on a 2+. So it'd be an expensive piece, but maybe a strength 5 break tackle Bull Centaur wouldn't be horrendous. Obviously, in the old rules, break tackle meant they could dodge on a 2+. Old rules, Blood Bowl 2 rules, they could dodge on a 2+, but now they can't. But yes, I would develop a killer and a ball carrying one. The ball carrier, so obviously, so you still want block. You probably still want sure hands. You probably save for a stat. Ideally, you want agility, and then maybe you could look at 2 heads, although that's 40k. You probably just better off trying to get agility, unless you're going to random it early, because it's the same cost, but has more uses. Then you get ticked onto the blockers. Now again, for those of you guys who played these on Blood Bowl 2, would have noticed they've lost tackle. Tackle is quite a big loss. I've definitely felt it when I've been playing them in NAF style in particular, because you have to kind of take tackle. But they've got iron hard skin, so the 4 blockers, and yes, that's not a mistake, they are down to 4 blockers, are really hard to remove. Iron hard skin means you get no benefits to armor, so Mighty Blow, Chainsaw, Claws, fouling them, all of that does not work against them. So these guys are tough pieces to remove. The downside is once they do break armor, they do have Mighty Blow. Mighty Blow does stack, so if they do break armor, they are still, it's not like, oh, I'm using Mighty Blow, I'm very hard to move. They are still a lot harder to move than a normal dwarf, but that Mighty Blow going through can be a pain. Also, say this is the legendary cosmetic at the end of the Blood Pass. It's ridiculous, but I love it. So with these guys, the basic strategy is still you want some guard. You definitely, guard's probably your first skill, maybe Mighty Blow. Or like 1 goes Mighty Blow, 1 goes guard. You're probably going to want to give 1 or 2 of them tackle, just because you are going to want some extra tackle scattered throughout the team now, because you don't start with it as standard, which will slow down your development slightly. Once you've got some guard and Mighty Blow, and probably some tackle, it's either then stand firm you could random. We'll come up to random in a second. Sorry, stand firm, and then you're probably just mostly saving up for armor. You may want one or two of claws because obviously it help you with the removal game, and later on you are going to get probably outbashed a little bit. But yeah, generally speaking, that's where you want to be going with them. You want some guard, you want some mighty blow. You probably want one or two of tackle, and you probably want one of them with, well, at least one of them with claws. The other thing you could, do, obviously, is random on here. It's not too bad. You can't get strong arm because you can't throw a teammate. So that's already two of the skills you can't get. So then you're looking at arm bars. Yeah, not very good. Armbar brawler aren't great. Break tackle is fine for 10k, but you're probably looking to cycle him at some point. Grab's not horrendous. Grab could do some useful things if you pull people in. Then you're looking at guard. But you're looking at guard, mighty blow, stand firm are the three which you probably are happy to keep. It's 2 kills to get one, so it's probably not that unlikely to happen. But it's something worth considering. Just want to go back to the Bull Centaur a second. I did just forget 2 skills to mention here. With the Killer, Juggernaut's probably might be worth it. Even the Bull Carrier, Juggernaut might be worth it as a later skill because it means you can just blitz off. You'll get almost guaranteed a push because of Juggernaut, and then you could then move off. The other one's considering mutations. Again, this is quite expensive. You may want to random early on this. Is the Horns and Claws on the Killer, because the Horns are makes you strength 5, which basically means there's almost nothing in the game you can't blitz with 2 dice without an assist. And then the Claws, obviously, talked about earlier, get through this armor. You will need to probably kill some players with Chaos Dwarfs to be successful. Now, more than you on the Flamesmith. So these guys are dwarfs, same stat line as we've seen before, except they're now movement 5. The downside is they've lost block, they've lost iron hard skin, they've gained a brawler, which, yeah, not real dwarf. It's the kind of meme for that. So this is allowing to reroll on a block a both down result. They have disturbing presence, which does actually make a difference. I quite often forget at tabletop. It has come up once or twice. I won't say quite often, I have forgotten it once or twice, but obviously in Blood Bowl 3, we won't have to worry about that. We've got this new ability, Flame Breath. Now, this is, I'm just going to be honest, this is at best situationally good. And I mean at best. So, what you do is it's a special action, a bit like Stab. You roll a dice. On a 1, you are knocked down. That's terrible. On a 2 to 3, nothing happens. On a 4, you place your opponent prone. On a 6, they are knocked down, so you would make an armor roll. You don't get any star player points from it because it's a special action, it's not a blocking action. If you're doing it against anyone who's strength 5 or above, there's an additional -1 to this. So there's situationally times this is quite good. Not quite good. The situation times where this is all right. If you're up against a bludger or it's going to be 2 dice uphill, might be worth considering doing this. I have done a tournament. I came across a giant, and my opponent played very well, got 3 Chaos Dwarfs stuck on a giant. So I Flamesmithed and managed to roll the 5+, knocked it down. So all my dwarfs ran away. Well, by the Flamesmith, who bravely tanked it. It's something to remember, but you don't want to be doing it every turn. I hope it's got a cool animation. That's my main thing I hope for here. As these guys don't have block, you do need to consider block. In NAF style, I normally go guard if I get a skill for them. Movement 5 and guard isn't terrible. The movement 5 is actually my favorite thing about these guys. It gives you a couple of extra pieces that can just keep up slightly, and it doesn't sound like much, but it does make a big difference. But yeah, you're probably going to want block at some point. There's an argument I've heard, although it's quite a bit of development. These guys could go block and tackle, and because they're movement 5, they could be your tackle pieces rather than using it on your blockers. That's not something I've tested yet. I've played 1 league with Chaos Dwarfs, and I've done, say, a lot of NAF with Chaos Dwarfs. And NAF do not have the skills for it, and and Flamesmiths are lower down on the priority for skills. In league play, that could be something you could develop. It's something to consider, that these guys could be your sackers just because they are slightly more mobile, but the Edge 4+ is still an issue. Next up, we have the Hobgoblins. There's a lot you can do with these guys, but basically they are rubbishy cheap humans. They're 40k, they've got the stat line of a human lineman, except they've got 1 less armor. So generally speaking, I think with these guys, you're just randoming on general. If you get, there's lots of hits here, but you don't want to be spending much money on these guys. So the hits would be obviously block, fantastic. Dirty player, fantastic. Kick is all right, especially it's like for like anti-one turn and stuff. It wouldn't be terrible. Pro, probably not an immediate fire, but it's not ideal. More, you probably want to round him again if you get pro. Sure hand's great. Tackle, as we said, tackle's now a problem for the team. Tackle would actually be quite good, and wrestle. So, generally speaking, I think you're just mostly randoming on these guys. If you random block, then you probably don't want to random again. Just leave them as they are, and then probably never upgrade them. If they end up somehow leveling up again, just say for armor or something. Just to save out. If you get dirty player, then obviously you want to probably then consider trying to get sneaky git. There is an argument you could random on here first because dodge isn't bad on them. Sneaky git's phenomenal. You want some fouling, but yeah, I think you're better off just randoming on here. And if you do manage to get the dirty player, just have a bench. It's probably better than trying to get the sneaky git anyway. It costs you the same amount of TV, so you just have a bench. If you get tackle, so you get pro, then a random again, and then you got wrestle, tackle with pros pretty good. You then could consider strip ball maybe, but I don't know. These guys aren't particularly, they're not war dancers. Whether they're getting around, another question. Right, then on to the other new player for the Chaos Dwarfs. We've got the Stabber. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush with this guy. Currently, as is the rules that Blood Bowl 3 uses, this guy's pretty terrible. He's 70k. He has stab, he has shadowing. He has the same stat line as before, except I think his passing's got worse. Yeah, worse. They're not ideal, really, because you don't really want to be. You probably don't really want to be blitzing with him too often because you want to be blitzing with the bull centaurs, with your blockers, getting them star player points. Shadowing is bad on him because he's only movement 6, and yeah, so. In the new rules about to come out, he's much better. He's still, I don't know if he's still great, but he's much better. I'm not going to go too much into details because there's lots of complicated reasons why you probably want to take them in the new rules, which is not worth going into this video because this is about Blood Bowl 3. But yeah, shadowing obviously got better and he got cheaper. If you take one, you could consider randoming for multi-stab. Probably isn't worth it. Yeah, I guess you could random on here, hoping you get dodge. Might be useful. Sidestep might be useful. I don't know. I struggle to work out what role these guys have. They're like Dark Elf Assassins before they came a little bit good. If you are in a low TV meta, say you're up against Zons, lots of Zons, lots of Elves, lots of stunties, you may want to consider one just because stab's quite useful then, especially against the blodgers. But yeah, it's fine. And then lastly, on the Minotaur, Cow goes moo. I quite like the Minotaur on Chaos Dwarfs. It might be because I have a Minotaur thing. I love Minotaurs. I generally every single NAF tournament I've been to, I've taken a Minotaur, and he's done me well, generally speaking. And I've done pretty well with him in NAF, to be fair. Very close to getting 200 rating already. This is pretty straightforward though. You're probably saving for block. You could random Juggernaut, or just pick Juggernaut, but you're probably saving for block. And then generally, how I find he's the Minotaur, I stick him on the LOS with the blockers, and he's just a strength 5 piece to help the blockers. The bull centaurs do most of the blitzing. Again, could go claws with the mutation. You're starting to get quite expensive at that point, and you may want to consider stand firm just because of the frenzy. In case you get yourself into getting, you surf someone, you end up getting near being surfed yourself. I think you also equally could not take the Minotaur. I love Minotaurs. I have a real soft spot for them. Don't know particularly why. They do have Unchannel Fury now, so for any of you who did play Chaos Dwarfs during when they were Team of Legend on with GW, they had Animal Savagery for a while. So that's the same as a Rat Ogre, where they would lash out and hit their teammates. Which I was kind of hoping they would keep because I was like, oh, awesome, you give them claws and the Chaos Dwarfs don't care because, they've got Ironheart skin, but no, they've taken it away. Probably for the best, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, it's hard to fit a Minotaur in a starting team, but I quite like the Minotaur. Now a quick look at starting builds. So this is what the game recommends you start with. I pretty much don't disagree. I think this is probably about your best start. Rerolls are 70k, so it's quite expensive to get rerolls. You can't really afford many fans and stuff. It's a pretty balanced start. You've got all your blockers. You've got your 2 Bull Centaurs. You've got the 2 Flamesmiths, because you could potentially drop a Flamesmith for a reroll, I guess, and then gives you a fan. I think you got enough block. I think I'd rather just go for 2 rerolls. It will make your offense a little bit risky though in the first few games, until you can get sort of some skill ups on here. But yeah, and then you got the 4 Hobgoblins. Again, if you're just randoming on these guys, if they manage to score a touchdown, you may want to consider the first few games that you carry on them, and then if you are in a position where you're massively players up, then you try handing off to a Bull Centaur. You probably want to get the Bull Centaurs leveled up. These are your top priority to get leveled up. Once the Bull Centaurs get going, the team is so much easier to run. So I've done like a little bit. What will this look like after probably about 10 games? I'm gonna make a slight alteration here because I probably would have done this. Probably the first guy he levels. If I'm not randoming heavy, I probably just go. Oh, what's it? Guard away. Oh well. Ignore the guard that's there. This is probably what you're looking at. So this one, I mean, like, this is like the ball carrying one. But Juggernaut's probably a mistake here. I don't know why I've gone Juggernaut. Probably ignore that. But yeah, you probably want block first still. Then you go sure hands. Then you've got the then you say got the killer one with block, tackle, mighty blow. As I said, tackle's very important. You don't have any natural tackle pieces, so you do need to consider tackle earlier now. Then probably go 1 blocker with mighty blow just to try and get some more removals, and then these guys are all just go guard. To just be that guard wall. Then with the Hobgoblins, I would just assume these are randoms more than anything else. Probably got the 3rd reroll and gone for the Apo. So there's quite a few randoms you could keep. Wrestle, block. Even a tackle Hobgoblin probably is worth keeping, just because you just need some tackle for the edge matchups. You are still quite slow up here. So just having some tackle so that you can hopefully burn through their rerolls or get some of them down is not going to be a bad thing. Right, and then we're going to have a quick look at arena rosters. So this is... let's have a quick look at the arena rules just so you can see... No, we'll do the arena. I'll do that separate video. So this is basically what I've taken to NAF style events. There's normally 1 less skill or 2 less skills, at which point I drop them off the Flamesmiths. There is an argument to keep 2 guard here and actually drop the guard off the 2 blockers, and then the Flamesmiths run around because they're more mobile. You move the Flamesmiths in, and then you basically buddy them up with a blocker that doesn't have guard. I've tried it. I wasn't a massive fan. I'd rather have guard on the pieces that are harder to remove, is the way I looked at it. But yes, Minotaur with block is your secondary. 3 Hobgoblins, 2 Flamesmiths with guard, 4 blockers with guard, and then 2 Bull Centaurs, 2 a block, 1 of them, I say, with tackle. This could be Frenzy or Mighty Blow. I've seen both being used on Chaos Dwarfs to quite a lot of success. I quite like the tackle because I found the matchups I struggled in the most. In fact, my only loss with Chaos Dwarfs in NAF style has been against Zons, so that might be influencing my decision points here. And I almost drew that game. I was very unlucky. But yeah, I just, from that point onwards, I'm like, I want 1 tackle piece. I just want a straight 4 guy who can smash in, probably doesn't need many assists, if any assists at all, to get 2 dice. You get 1, hope maybe even get 3 dice with an assist if it's strength 2 player. Get a tackle, just guarantee getting players down. And I say the Minotaur I tend just to put around the LOS quite often, just to support the blockers, because turns out like 4-6 guard with a strength 5 player in the middle, pretty hard to deal with for a lot of teams. Who would have thought it? But yeah, this isn't particularly revolutionary. I have tried a 1 Mighty Blow here in NAF style. I absolutely hated it, and it basically pretty much did nothing. And the amount of times I'm like, I really wish that was a guard. So generally, I'm now, this is kind of the default-ish that I've gone to. No Apo, because you're hoping that your armor 10 plus players don't get removed. You could go drop down to 2 rerolls, take an Apo, and then maybe take 2 coaches, maybe. You could, I just worry that I'm about picking up the ball, if I'm honest. I like the 3 rerolls, but you could do that. If you're worried about this, you definitely could. Chaos Dwarfs are expensive. You're not going to get everything you want. Now I put this alt build in. So Mr. Blitzkrieg, who you may or may not know from YouTube and tabletop fame, this is kind of what he has been taking to tournaments. So the main difference here is he's got a multi-stab. He's got a multi-stab stabber, and the thing shouldn't work, but for some reason it works for him, and he's done really well. I don't know why, but he has. So so there we go. So we've got the multi-stab there. We've got the 6 guard. We've got the 2 block. Up again. I think he normally is mighty blow. I like tackle. His logic is I've got the stabber. I've got someone who can punch through blodge. I don't need the tackle as much, so he'd rather go for more removals. You do lose the Minotaur, but this is another build. I probably will try this at some point on stream, just because this could be fun in theory. And I think this season we're going to see a lot of elves and zons in the arena rules. But yes, there we go. I hope that was useful. It's kind of my first time doing a guide. Not gonna lie, my anxiety about imposter syndrome did make me really worried about doing this. But yeah, I hope that gives you a rough idea on the team. If you did enjoy this, you found this useful, please do let me know. I want to do lots of these when Warhammer Blood Bowl drops, for like every team, at least every team I feel comfortable with, which will be most of the teams, to be fair. But yes, hopefully you enjoy Chaos Dwarf. So you're looking forward to Chaos Dwarfs and Blood Bowl 3. I used to hate Chaos Dwarfs and Blood Bowl 2. I really like Chaos Dwarfs now. Really weird. Don't know why, that them getting worse has made me like them more. But here we are. Anyway, there we go, YouTube. I hope you have enjoyed this content. There will be a 10-game series and an arena run that I'm hoping to put on. I'm hoping to do on stream that will latch on to the end of this in the same playlist. So if you do want to see them, those 2 styles, do hang around. Obviously, if you are looking at this on the day it comes out, haven't done that yet. Need to play the games, and this isn't officially out yet. But anyway, I hope you've had a good time. And yeah, but if you did enjoy this, please do let me know. It does mean a lot to me right now. I'm still trying to feel my way into this extra content that isn't just me playing games. So it is really appreciated. Anyway, have a good day and goodbye.